How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Good morning, chat. How we doing? How we doing, chat? How we doing, chat? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. One thing that we were talking about earlier is if this is gonna hold and it's really bullish, eventually it's gonna breach this golden pocket, which probably means that if you are bullish and you want to chase a long and you were waiting for here, but you start to see this happen, you probably need to get into a long before it breaches the point of control. So you don't have to worry about something like this. And then if this, doesn't hold. Yeah, I mean, I have pixel perfect top. Are you caught? Basically what you want to do is, well, first things first, were you here last night? And I think I was trying to fix I think my mic was still broken. But were you here last night when I had it like this? So, and then if you remember, we're shorting the SFP of this. All right, so there should be, it's in the highlights. I drew it like this and I drew it like this. Anonymous. And then I don't know if you remember, but remember the gap fill, but not mine. So pixel perfect. It ran up right into the gap. And the question was always, are we going to be above or below Bugatti dealership? So I would assume we're going to rotate down to here now. So the bulls would probably need to hold this. You can see bulls that don't know if they would do it on a Friday. But yeah, it's just this was the trade. Is this a good area to look for a long? Yeah, I mean, if yeah, it's the gap play. So this is kind of like the zone that we were talking about, saying if this would be like the last place where the bulls would be able to hold. Theo says, when I check the data, there is hidden bull div and open interest is short squeezing. How can be so sure about that short? You probably just don't have sample size. So how long have you been trading, Theo? Yeah, what you need is sample size. It just sounds like you have no data whatsoever. So what I want you to do is see these scenarios thousands of times. Okay, and then basically you're going to have, an idea of 600 out of the 1,000 times it did this. 200 out of the 1,000 times it did this. 300 times out of the 1,000 it did this. So that's what you're lacking, and that's what's going to allow you to be confident or sure in your case. A lot of your questions are asking, how can I be sure? How can I be sure? You can only trust your own experience, right? So stuff like that, open interest, volume on S&P. You're asking me, how do you know this is a good short? This is a long potentially. So you're already messing it up. The short is up here. The long is here. Do you understand? Do you understand that going above the gap is bullish? So it makes sense to short it before. This is the Diddy gap. This is the last place where bulls have to defend. So if you want a long, you long here. You're asking me, how do you show sure about a short? The short is up here. You like below the green line. We said if you want a short, you better get in before you get back below the green line. So yeah, Theo, you probably just lack experience, right? But if you've only asked a girl out one time, you probably have no idea what you're doing. You got to understand all the variables that might come at you, and you're going to have to finesse. S&P, open interest, the day of the week. It's not just about divergences and open interest. You got to look at the whole sort of bigger picture. All right, big dog. And then from there, you're going to be able to start prioritizing edge, okay? One day you're going to need to prioritize the hidden bull div on S&P. Forget the bear div on Bitcoin. All right. Some days you're going to need to prioritize CME Bitcoin. Forget the single prints or divs on Binance Derivative and Bybit. You need to look at CME open interest and divergence. Yeah. So today, every day you have an opportunity to see if you know what you're doing. Embrace that. Okay. So figure out what it is that you don't know and focus on that for the next couple weeks and months so you can start to see the probabilities play out. All right, but if you've never seen, these things for yourself, it's gonna be quite hard to trust it. You'll always pussyfoot, I think. Jorgatan says, what means this Lithuania Bugatti dealership thing? It is the line sort of that indicates above is bullish, below is bearish. Yeah, 106 has been a very important level for me for about 3 weeks. And Jorgatan, welcome to the Lion group, Lion Gang, brother. Every single day I stream. You guys ask me amazing questions. We talk about every single scenario. All right, so just rewind if you have time and get caught up on these. I believe I put that level up by June 4th. Nope. No, but you see the US Mexico border, like some of these levels have been there for quite some time. Okay, so what I would do if I were you is I would try to find the one that shows that line and then work your way back. Like this one's already going to have it. Like June 14th is already going to have it. So try to figure out what day we put it and then listen to my explanation. Yeah, but 106 is a really, really important level that we've had for quite some time. Yes, sir. J-Buck says, I missed the top short and then waited for the bearish retest at 618, but didn't get it. The market smashed at the green line. How could I make it more professional? Are you really bullish or bearish, J-Bucks? I don't know how much self-awareness you have, right? But do you remember when I said the lack of self-awareness, you're going to get taxed? So, the first thing is going to be, are you really bearish or are you really bullish? And were you really planning on taking a short up there? Yeah, most of the time people will have questions like, I'm not really bullish. I'm not really bearish. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I didn't take the trade because I wasn't convinced. What did I do wrong? You're not convinced. You don't really know what you're doing. You're not really bearish. You're not really bullish. I was going to pussyfoot like that. Yeah, so now if you really know, J-Bucks, that you're bearish and you wanted to short, I would start with things like, why didn't I have that gap fill but not mine line that Kimba has had for a while, right? We specifically talked about any short attempt is going to have to be somewhere above this. So it's kind of up to you. Did you see that this was a whole squeeze? Yeah. And now really isn't the appropriate time to be even talking about a short. The short you already missed. This is a scalp long potentially, right? Bugatti dealership. If you spend candle closes above, that's bullish. This might just end up being an SFP of the Bugatti dealership, indicating that it failed to look below it and it's right back above it. Yeah, so I think it just kind of comes down to preparation. You know what I mean? Like you were here when we drew this, right? And the target for this is actually at the blue. Do you remember when we did this on this? We did it like this, and we did it like this yesterday, and we did it like this, and we did it like this, and we said, look, the target is up here. Okay? Now, did you go to Bulkowski like I told you? Bulkowski, cement, single, triangle. Okay, what's the EV? So percentage meeting price target when it goes up. It's 58%. Okay, so what would be 58% of this poll? So expected value is 58%. So like around right here, right? So if you're going to play the symmetric triangle, you might be waiting all the way up here, but you know mathematically it's 58% is your expected value. So you're kind of eyeballing this area, are you not? That's your EV. That's your expected value. So you understand that the perfect target for a short would be here based off of math and the measure rule, but the probability that it's going to go to your target is 58%. So you're going to probably start looking around your EV zone. So those are just kind of things that we talked about, J-Bucks and anticipate, we did, but that's how you would do it. We do that a lot. I was waiting for the bearish retest there at the EV. Gotcha. In my opinion, I think if your entry is like, somewhere a little bit above single print, obviously you're not supposed to get stopped out of the single print, right? So if you know that we're aiming to grab the single print, right? So you have a entry above single print and then somewhere, between the goal 7.5 and here, I think any entry here, you're good. Make sense? Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but it's a Friday, so I don't really know if you want to go really too committed on a Friday. This is gonna waterfall all the way. So this is what I would say, J-Bucks. If this doesn't hold here, the VWAP and the original gap, this is gonna rotate all the way to Mexico. You understand? So I don't want you to sit there and be like, oh, I fucked up the short. If it loses this support where bulls needed to defend, it's going to nuke. It's going to come down as quickly as it went up. So it's not too late to get into a short, especially if you think that it's going to break 100. The only thing that would give you pause is that you haven't broken the Bugatti dealership line definitively. You don't even have a 30-minute body candle close yet. And it's also a Friday. All right. I feel like we've been looking at 104, 105, and 106 for quite some time now. So I think it comes down to what your interpretation of those levels are. If you're kind of disregarding like the higher time frame, why 104, 105, 106 is important, then you're probably going to get caught up in like some 5-minute candle gotcha shit. Yeah. J-Buck says, yeah, that's why I'm bearish and I market smashed at the green line. Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. I think if you could have done it again, you would have preferred to have an entry above the single print. Yeah, but that's okay. That's actually not bad. Put your stop loss at break even after 5-minute structured close. Yeah, S&P is the same exact high again. Gomez says, if BTC goes to clean this single print, you think it's a good idea to open a long because it's weekend? No. I don't think I've ever done anything such as, since it's the weekend, let's open a long. Yeah, make sure you rewind and get caught up, okay? Gomez, the sentiment score you have is dropping, bro. Peter says, Kimba, it went exactly as you said. They grabbed the top and now heading south. I have my alerts for top and bottom. Yes, one of them went waited for structure to change, then took tiny profit, moved stop loss, so I can't lose now. Thank you, Kimba. I really love it. That is awesome, Peter. Congratulations. Yeah, lots of lions took a short up there. Amazing. Yeah. Keep juicing, Peter. You're doing great. And we'll see what the 1015 is. But yeah, I mean, it helps to understand that you don't want to get got in retail arena. You know what I mean? So we were either going to short that or long this, right? But we were not interested in anything in retail arena. Just got to be patient. Yeah, Akira says, that is wild how you predict that drop. It's just data, Akira. So if you were from the very beginning of the stream, you know, this was a short squeeze. Nobody longed. It was all the shorts stopping out. So that would indicate weakness. It's not bullish. Okay? So the only thing that we have to do is identify the next level where the bulls have to hold it. And as long as they don't hold, it's going to rotate to the complete opposite side. Yeah, and we've been talking about this for quite some time, but we were not interested in trading anything in retail arena. We said the only thing we want is a swing fail short. The only thing we want is a swing fail long. And now, if you remember what I said, Peter, now that this single print first, this is even lower probability. The chances that this is going to, swing fail and hold is a little bit lower now. The chances of going through it went up. And as long as you understand that math, then you're good. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, that's not great for us, but it is what it is. Structure has already changed. I've put my stop loss at break even. What do you guys, you can rewind as far back as maybe 2 weeks. What do you guys think about this? So we've been trying this for quite some time. Yeah. Not too shabby, huh? So I can't lose. But I told you guys already earlier in the day, we're taking this and I fully expect to get round tripped. If I can get away with it, awesome. I don't know if I want all of these people on my boat. But it is what it is. So CME cleaned. It got both. Consuela is back above the US border. Entry here, stop loss here. Same thing on something like this, entry here, stop loss there. Or, in my case, I was able to get the 450. I think I went all the way to 550 on some exchanges, but not too bad. Pretty close to bottom. You had to go into it. You see how I had already told you guys, I had already made up my mind that I was going to take it. So one, you needed to have that sort of organic conviction of what you're looking for, what you're expecting, what you're going to allow. All right. So anyways, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like I said, I would expect to get round tripped. I can't lose. So in my opinion, in my eyes, I've already won for the day. Kimba, you said structure has changed. Higher high? Higher low? I can't lose. JV said if it's the long for all-time high play, I will need to chase it later to add much more. It's not. This long right? Nah. No, you're good. It's going to be on Monday. Yeah. Maybe. This is what I was saying. Maybe. Best case scenario, you get a failed auction and the lowest that it goes is like a 7.5 or a golden pocket right here. Okay. Best case scenario is it doesn't even pull back. It just blasts through this blue box, right? But assuming that best case scenario doesn't happen, then your second best is you make a higher low, golden pocket, 7.5 holds. The next best after that for the long is you get a trident, and you actually do go into the 1015s and you clean out the single prints. Yeah, so RTH on Monday will tell you if you missed it or not. Yeah, well, we're going to have to wait until Monday, most likely, JV. And if, for example, even if it goes back down and it goes to the 7.5 or the golden pocket and that bounces temporarily over the weekend kind of shit. Naturally, now you have another week in poor lows on top of untapped single prints, which usually will mean that it's going to get grabbed on Monday RTH anyways. So if you, it's going to just, it's not even back to golden pocket or the 1027. It'll blast through this box. It'll clean the single prints. The bullish retest will be on the blue box. And eventually you're going to get above the 104, the 105, and 106. And I've said this before. It's not really going to matter if you have an entry from 104, 105, or 106 if you're targeting all-time high. Sounds good? RTH Monday is very obvious, but PTSD from previous training sessions make... Yeah, no, that's true, that's true, that's true. Yeah, but now, JV, what you have to start focusing on is it's going to go as low as it will push you to see if you're... So, JV, like, if you feel like you're comfortable longing 91, we're talking about 88. If you're comfortable longing 95, it's going to go to 92. Split Show is asking... You're telling me that's a bad low? No, it's not. Yeah, but you have way too many motherfuckers longing. Yeah, actually, you know what's funny? Yeah. Gas just said nobody is longing here. I get he doesn't understand. Everybody is longing. That's why it's going to go lower. And then when nobody is longing, that is literally when you want to long. Come on. Yeah. Split Joe says, what would be your edge on trying to long the 886 of this retest? Somebody tell this motherfucker that I've never longed the 886. Split Joe, I'm kind of teasing you, but I'm kind of not. I always tell you, I never take that 886 long. I won't even long the 7.5. Do you know which way that I will play it? I just told you, brother, and we were talking about this all week. Do you really want to be the one bad lows? So an 886 would give you an unfinished low. So instead of blind limits here and putting your stop loss here and just throwing away money for no reason, I'll let it bounce, get above the golden pocket, and then what is this swing high, swing low, resistance to be turned into support. That gives me confidence that we're going to be able to make a higher high. And then since the single prints go all the way up here, I would just aim for this. But you have to, that you can long that if you want. You just need to understand that losing money trying to long a bad low is stupid. So instead of trying to say, hey, I'm going to try to long this, and it might work for something like this, you know, and maybe you don't get stopped out, you do get away with it, or you get round tripped or whatever. Maybe it does work a little bit. Yeah, but what I would prefer to do is, first, the only way to think about longing this is if the price is above here. You know? So for me to answer a question about longing the 886, I wouldn't. I would wait for like this. And I would really prefer that because I don't want like a lower high, lower low scenario. I need something that tells me we have a shot to make a higher high. I don't want to be a part of a random group that just tries to random or short Fibonacci levels. I need something that tells me the probability to make a higher high is better than 50-50. So the only thing I have in my arsenal is the golden pocket that should be resistance gets turned into support, which means that it pierces that. But it's up to you. You know what you should do is take like small positions and try, doing your original trade wherever you wanted it long and see what happens. So it's not like I haven't done those a million times myself. It's just that in the last 4 years, it's usually a net negative, so I stopped doing it. But it's up to you. There's really no right or wrong. And then I would just maybe sprinkle, like for example, if we go to the golden pocket or 7.5 and all of these guys stop out, oh my God. And then imagine if all of these guys stop out, and so that selling pressure takes the CVD lower than this point when they started buying. And this makes a higher low. So you've got a lower low and you've got a higher low on the price. That would be a hidden CVD bull div. So in like a perfect scenario, this comes down to golden pocket or 7.5. All of these guys close in profit or break even. That sell-off indicates that there's no selling pressure. You got a hidden CVD bull div indicating that it's a probability of resumption of the original trend. And so that might be a good little long for you. But I don't know what will happen. And it's probably better to wait until these guys get stopped out. Or not. Yeah, but I already have my first attempt at break even. Do you want me to tell you when I take the next one? It's probably the next attempt is probably going to be the lower box, because I can put my stop loss at break even, and it's below the golden pocket in 7.5786 pullback. Mandelos has so many early longs. Yep. Somebody on YouTube literally actually said nobody is longing. Isn't that crazy? All of us here are like, yo, that's way too many fucking longs. And then somebody is like, there's nobody is longing. XRP? Oh, that's easy. XRP is easy money, dude. Anyways, let's stay locked in on this, though. Let's stay locked in on this. JV, do you have a long or no? Yes, I have. Not big one, though. Okay, then you need to pay. You need to pay attention to this. You need to pay attention to this, and you need to pay attention to this, and you need to pay attention to this. $102,797. That's awesome. JV, quick question. What, you know what this is, right? You've been watching me pull this fixed range volume profile for quite some time, for this whole thing. I always encourage you guys to do it, but level, the 102,450, kind of crazy, right, JV? And then like obviously the green line, everybody should have the SFP, right, of the low. Yeah. So obviously, like if you spin it, this is what it looks like, right? First one arrives, second one cleans, right? So you have arrival, you have the level that tells you, okay, it arrived. You have the higher time frame context in which, regardless of how low it goes, what do you need to snap back above, right? And if you want to try to snipe some shit, or try to have a level where you're thinking, I'm not going to try to put blind limits on this bitch, but theoretically, if it doesn't have a good reaction here, I'm probably going to start to think about, this is not a good long, which is what the yellow line is. Ricky says this scalpel not juice. That's okay. I mean, can you the MEXC leaderboard and the Blofin leaderboard and shit? I'm up like 1.3 mil just on the short. And that's the whole reason why we said we're going to take this, right? And why we didn't get stopped out, etc. Because it allows us to basically take long attempts for free. If I wanted to put blind limits here, right? And just lose a little bit of money if it had done that, all I'm really doing is sacrificing the unrealized profits from this short. So if I take a long from here and I get stopped out right there, right? Theoretically, I just didn't make any money in that gap on this short. The rich get richer. I want just the easy, like the exam answers. Orders from 98, top loss 85, leverage 3x. Done. Okay? Limit order at 98, limit order at 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91, and 90. Loss at 85. 3x. Done. Fuck it. Easy. Next week is just, we said last week, hey, get ready for FOMC week. We're going to juice the fuck up. I think we did. Not too shabby. All right. So I'll be back maybe later tonight, but probably not. I'll probably give baby girl a little bit more time since she let me mess around with my Xbox friends all day Wednesday on FOMC. So probably see you guys tomorrow morning. Tonya, take care of the kids, okay? Spank them if you need to. Zach, let's go. You are not alone in this game. Work together, root for each other, support each other, okay? Just because you're in a long and somebody else is in a short doesn't mean you guys are mortal enemies, all right? It honestly, the position size in this community, it's not going to matter, you know? You might as well just root for each other, remind each other to put stop loss at break even. And if you're actually not going to be a little insecure bitch about it, you might be able to listen and hear something that saves your ass. You know, so, you know, listen to each other, help each other out. Let's go. Root for each other. Lions, Bulls, Bears. I'm rooting for you. Giant! Hey, give it up for Houston and Cage. Let's go.